Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And joining me, as always, are my co-hosts, Rebellious D and Trav. How you fellas doing today?
What's goody?
Good to go, man.
Hey, it's always good seeing you guys. And today is Thursday, and we are reviewing Them, the new show on Amazon Prime. And before we get into today's review, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And D, say your line.
Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to the channel, please.
Oh, no, I wasn't talking about that one. I was talking about the podcast one.
Oh, podcast in the description.
There we go. Because I know D's always just like, I'm going to always throw the podcast in there somewhere in there.
Yeah, he gave me a spot, so now I know how to roll with it.
You know how to roll with it, man.
Yeah.
So, let's go ahead and get into this review. So, like I said, the show is called Them, and it's not the horror movie that came out in 2006. It's about a family that moves from North Carolina to Compton in Los Angeles, and it's set in 1953. And of course, with it being set in that time, what was that, Trav?
Is it 53?
Yeah, 1953. Okay. Yep.
Right.
And pretty much, of course, because it's set in the 50s, there's a bunch of prejudice and segregation and racism. They move into an all-white neighborhood. They get a real good still on the house. And after they move into the house, like a bunch of weird shit just starts happening. Mm-hmm. So I want to start with you, D, because I see it's like you're primed, you're ready to go. I also, too, I like to say that I love the new chair that you got.
Wait till you see the setup.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the setup. I like how the chair matches the shirt that you have on right now. So, D, like before we jump far ahead into it, like how did you feel about the premise of the show, like coming into it?
I thought it was run of the mill, especially not looking at the overview of the show and knowing about the events that would come. You know, it just seemed like more racial violence, and I'm not sure. You know, I'm kind of good on that kind of stuff right now, Banks, especially with everything going on. Yeah, just kind of. I think it was bad placement, bad time. I mean, I know they can't just rewind time and take their project back, but
I mean, even so, though, you can't tell me 2 years ago there was a bunch of racial violence too. So even when they decided to make the film, there's a lot of racial violence going on in the real world, anyways. So is there ever a right time to do it?
And it's like at some point it's enough. You know, when is enough? Like,
and I had this conversation with D where I told him I felt like that they were kind of banking off of what's going on right now in America, that this show, it was going to trigger a lot of people. And I feel like that's what it did, because there were a couple of times where I saw in some episodes where it's like I was getting pissed off. I mean, for me, like whenever I see anything racist going on in the film, it already angers me anyway. Yeah. I feel like that this show, like it definitely had its points where it was going to either make you mad, it was going to make you sad, or you probably weren't going to care. And the reason why I suggested that we do this review is because, like a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people were bamboozled, because when they saw
like, nice word usage.
When they saw the font and it said them, and like the Trav, what is it called? Like when the promotion posters and pics and stuff like that, it had a similar look to Us. And the one girl who was in Us, who played the daughter, she was in this as well. And so a lot of people thought that this was a Jordan Peele project. Like, even if you go on Google right now and type in Them, like right next to Them, it says Jordan Peele. But Jordan Peele had nothing to do with this. So that's the reason why I say I feel like a lot of people came into this because they thought that it was one of his projects, that it could possibly be in the same universe as Us. And like I said, they were bamboozled. Trav, how did you feel about it when you saw like all of the promotion and the pictures and stuff like that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you would be lying, and they would be lying if they denied that they didn't purposely promote it in a way where you thought, oh, are we getting some more Us? Like, there was a connection. Yeah. But as soon as I read up on it, immediately saw there wasn't a connection.
Yeah.
It didn't like deter me from the show or anything, because at that point I had already seen the trailer.
Yeah.
So I would, it's just, and as we go on, that's a whole nother book to unfold of why they decided to do this.
Yeah. Now, see, we want to cover horror stuff here on the channel, and again, like I said, when I saw that, I thought that it was similar to Us, that I thought it was connected. When you watch the show, like, it does have little bits of horror elements in the show.
Yeah, I agree.
But there really isn't a lot, unless, because I know that there are some people that consider racism a form of horror. You know what I'm saying? But the racism that we see on the show, it is messed up. It is scary. If you go to like Lovecraft Country, for example, I feel like Lovecraft Country, a lot of people would say that the white people on the show, like, they were just as bad as the monsters on the show. But Lovecraft Country, they did a good job at, interweaving everything, like with the racism, the monsters, the magic, like all of that stuff in the show. So it came off like it was a sci-fi show. Whereas with this, it just comes off as
racism
for
a long time. Like at least 4 to 5 episodes, it's just like racism.
Yeah.
They just don't like the black people that moved in across the street. And I'm glad you brought up Lovecraft Country, because Lovecraft Country seemed like one cohesive unit.
Yeah.
Like, it was always driving its story forward, and it lets you know early on what's going on, Yeah. Whereas this, it was like, it's like, we're going to slow burn you. And it's like, why? You can't, with something as serious, using racism as your driving, your catalyst force, you can't afford to slow burn. You need to, if you're going to introduce a second half or another part to the plot, it has to be sooner.
Yeah.
Because that's what I got from it, dude. I'm watching, I'm like, okay. Like, because even with the incident of spoiler alert, Lucky loses their baby essentially.
Yep.
And it's an act of a hate crime, I guess.
Yeah.
And like, you don't even get to see that until what, episode 6, 7?
Yeah, later on, when we see the backstory on that. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and I was going to touch on that. I want to piggyback off what you were saying, D. A lot of stuff that you see in this show, it's like you got to get through the first couple of episodes, then they give you the backstory on, like, what happened, like what was the cause of them moving from North Carolina to California. Now Henry, who is the father of the show, after they lost their son, he didn't do anything about it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, when I saw that, I'm just like, okay, like, I understand why he didn't do anything about it, because for one, he's black and it's the 1950s.
It'd have been a wrap.
Pretty much if he would have did something, like, the entire family would have pretty much been executed.
Yep.
But he had that weight on his shoulders, because him and his daughters, they ended up leaving to go see a movie, and then they end up losing their son, and there was nothing that Lucky could do to protect him, even though she hit him. The people that broke into the house, they were still able to
overpower her
and
easily and
take the baby. And like this whole scene, it pissed me off.
Yeah.
And I want to,
the thing is,
hold on real quick, because I'm about to mention you. It's like, it goes back to what you were saying, where it's like, when is too much racism enough? Because I feel like in this day and age, it's like we see stuff like this, and we see stuff like this in the real world, and it's like, I don't want to continue to see it in movies and TV shows, because it becomes overbearing. It's like we've been seeing this stuff since we were kids. Like, we're all in our 30s now, and like they're still coming out with stuff where it's just like, yeah, this is gonna piss people off. This is gonna make people angry. I get pissed off enough with stuff that happens in the real world. You know what I'm saying? It's like, just this week we just saw a video of a sergeant coming at a black man in the neighborhood, and he lived in the neighborhood, and like, just seeing that, like, that pisses me off. So like, that's the reason why I try to stay away from a lot of these videos that we see on the internet, or these stories that we hear, because we experience this stuff every day.
Yep.
And D, you can go ahead, but I just wanted
to touch on what you were, piggyback again. Like, even going into the incident where they lose the baby, I would have been more satisfied if they retaliated, and that's why they had to flee.
Yeah.
It would have made more sense. Like, they just put their tails between their legs and they left.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. None of that adds up, dude. Because it was so. There's so much emotion that's built up in the characters already. As you find, as it comes, more to light, then you get the stuff with the curse. It just doesn't. It's like, okay. I would have been more satisfied if they had retaliated and then fled, because they lost their baby and they knew what it meant to be black and to commit that kind of crime. It just made more sense to me.
Now, to piggyback off of what you just said, because I want to kind of jump ahead.
Jenga? A little bit of Jenga? I like
this. I want to jump ahead now. Now,
hold on. Before you jump ahead, I want to comment on that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, go ahead, Trav. Go ahead.
My only thing with that, I don't think they could have retaliated, only because the way that it's set up to me was it was random white people they live out in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe this is just random white people
kind of like a stranger situation
and wrecking havoc and then peacing out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like the neighbor. Yeah, like the stranger. It wasn't like the neighbor down the street. Yeah. So like I can get that setup where it's weird, white hicks in the country.
That's what it seemed like. They
giving it to the black man, what I mean? And then like you just said, and Banks is gonna snowball forward a little bit.
Yeah.
But then when you get to episode 9 and there's this whole backstory of a curse.
Yeah.
That's when it's like, I'll say this comment and then I'll let you go, Banks. Why the hell would a demon be racist?
Well, see, now this is where it's like, because I was about to go into this before you said what you said, but it's going along with what you're saying. So I am piggybacking off of you, Trav. Now, when the random white family, when they came to their house in North Carolina, now remember the lady, she was singing the song, right? And then we see in episode 9 that the priest, he was singing that same song. And remember, she was like, my father used to sing that song to me. So I felt like that there was some sort of connection there, like maybe like that lady was related to them in some way. But then when you think about it, it's like everybody
it still wouldn't make sense because this is a Compton.
That's true. Yeah, that was in Compton,
so
and this was in North Carolina. So
that's what I was like. It just seemed like it was thrown together. This is what I mean.
It was
disjointed. See, now that we're going into it and actually breaking it apart and talking about it, this is what I mean. Like what? Why it would have made more sense to say that the demon or the devil, whatever he's supposed to be,
it was the devil.
It was the devil.
Yeah.
Like it would have made more sense that he was feeding off their negativity, but they don't actually announce that.
Yeah.
It just seems like he's using them. Like turning the town against them.
Yeah, demons, the devils don't even. If they're gonna do anything with race, it's not based on their own personal feelings. It would just be to start riots.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It wouldn't be because they hate black people.
Yeah, it would be like they would use the town.
Well,
yeah, that whole thing was stupid.
Well, no, I get the reason why they did that. It's because when they were in the town, remember, it's like everybody there, like this was like the first time that they had ever seen people of a different color.
Second time, they were the second family.
They were the second.
Remember the lady? Yeah, remember the lady.
They were the third family.
Okay.
Remember the lady who killed? She poisoned her kids and her husband. And she was like,
no. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the people in the past.
She was before them. The lady she goes to see in the asylum.
He's just saying this particular neighborhood is like.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm talking about like.
But weren't they in Compton too?
Yeah, no, it all takes place in Compton.
They're in West Compton.
Yeah, but I'm talking about.
So they had already destroyed East Compton. Now they're taking over West Compton.
Got it.
I'm talking about like all the way back in the past where.
Right.
Where the people that stayed in the religious town.
The Amish people.
The Amish people. Yeah, this was their first time seeing like
encountering
people
black
of a different color. This was their first time seeing black people.
Obviously, they've heard of them because they brought up
exactly
how they tore the world in two or whatever.
Yep. Exactly. But that's all that they knew. And so like what I'm trying to get at is they became racist over time, and I feel like the reason why they became racist is because of the influence of the devil. And we see that at first, it's like they were treating them like, they were equals, but then they started putting them to work and everything, and they were just chilling and whatnot. And I understand that the devil, like he wasn't racist, but
Was he?
he only amplified how the Amish people felt about seeing people of a different color. Because you see what the priest, like, he was praying, like he thought he was praying to God, but then he was praying to the devil. The devil was just like, I've been here this whole time. I've been answering all of your prayers and doing everything for you and whatnot.
Yeah,
and,
but the deal was for him to wreak havoc on black families until, and when he could no longer do that, he would face
he would go to hell,
his death or whatever. Yeah.
But which happens,
right? Yeah.
But the thing is, then you get the tie-in to. I get what they were trying to do, but then you have the company who's leasing out homes and just running up the mortgages and stuff so they're unpayable.
That's them trying to put in real life situations that actually happened in the 1950s, like scandals.
I mean,
so that's them
I
sprinkling
understand.
In real life. Yeah. But that's all it is, though. Exactly. It's just them trying to tie in, just like Podcast. That's the name of the episode.
Yeah.
Hey, make sure you listen to that episode too.
Yep. Podcast Country.
But it's just like Lovecraft when they sprinkled in real stuff, but it made sense in the story.
Exactly.
They just threw it there, tried to sprinkle in real life black experiencies. That
I didn't see the devil talking into these people at the company. I mean, that would at least went with it.
No, those because they're already evil.
Yeah,
they're the evil white man.
Now, what's interesting is it's like I feel like there really aren't any feel good moments in this show. Whereas like in Lovecraft Country, you did get those feel good moments. They were sprinkled in.
You don't get the payoffs in this. They're really weird.
Deal with the racism and the monsters and all that other stuff. But in this show, it's like there's no feel good moments, and it's like the whole family was being affected because of the house that they stayed in. And I will say on the first episode, when the little girl, when she woke up in the middle of the night and she went into the kitchen, and then the Amish lady had stood up, like, I will say that I was just like, okay, like that was scary.
That wasn't an Amish lady. That was the chick from her book, the teacher.
The chick from her book. Okay.
Yeah, but then it's like, then you go for a while without any kind of stuff.
I know, it's very weird. I wasn't sure what it was we were watching for.
Exactly. Then you get the kind of thing where you get a lot of misleads, I'll say, like the basement. They're wondering about the basement, the first episode and some change. Then they go down and the dog's just down. I thought they had maybe like black people chained up down there, or what killed the dog.
Well, the dog knew something was down there.
Exactly. Well, they say dogs, can sense things.
Yeah. And
it's animals
weird.
In general.
It's weird when you really see dogs like doing that. Like when they're looking at something, it's just like, it's not.
You got to go for the colt. You got to go for the colt.
Hey, that's what happened though. Like the devil told the dude, he was just like, all you got to say is yes. And he was just like, yeah, like it was just so crazy. Episode 9 was the best episode of this series, in my opinion. Just to see like how all the Amish people treated the 2 black people that came to the town, and how happy they were when they were hanging them and like setting them on fire and whatnot. Just the looks on their face, like it pissed me off. But then,
why did it burn the whole town down?
The devil did that.
But why?
Who knows?
That's what I'm saying.
Start over, I guess.
I really feel like you leave the show with more questions than you had when you started watching it.
And then it's like even the reveal of Henry's dark side blackface, I guess we'll call it.
It is blackface, but they call him tap dancer.
Yeah,
I saw him in the credits as tap dancer.
He stole the show from me. Everybody.
Yeah, but the thing is, why do we have to wait so long to even get him? I think it would have been cool to introduce little snippets of him in little conversations, because Henry has moments where he freaks out, but he doesn't. It's like, was that his breaking point when he shows up? Was that him?
I think the tap dance man was just to push him.
It's his inner demon, pretty much.
It was to push him to be what white people
wanted black people to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we find out that the tap dance man was a white man in blackface, because you got to think back in those times. Well, I want to say like the blackface stuff was earlier than that.
It was earlier, yeah.
But it's just like when white people would do blackface, it was to joke black people and to show how ignorant they were and whatnot. So like you said, that was his inner demon, and like this is how white people see black people, and like that's why they wanted him to do what they wanted him to do, because remember, like he was about to shoot the lady unborn child until his daughter came out there and was just like, Dad. Now I will say that one of my favorite characters on the show was the youngest daughter, Gracie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought that she did a phenomenal job to be that young, and the role, like to be in a role like that, like I'll give props to her on that. It was also it was also good seeing Allison Pill, because honestly,
yeah, I love
the only other horror thing that I know that she's done was she was on American Horror Story Cult.
Yep.
And so I mean it was cool seeing her in this as well. And then like when she gets killed, it's like, you know, she escapes and she gets shot, and then that's it. Like we don't see her again.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
Thing is, that payoff was terrible. That was a bad decision. I don't even know what he had to do with anything, because he never went in and even attacked them.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is this for?
Honestly, I thought
she was going to get beat to death.
When he gave her the freedom to escape, you know, and she could go off on her own, I thought she was just going to join him in the house. And like, that was it. You know what I mean? And it's like, he turned her.
Yeah, then you had her going to her parents.
She runs. And,
go ahead, Trav,
he snipes her, and I'm like,
headshot.
And then that was it. Like, you never saw those characters again.
Well, no, he showed back up. He showed back up at the end, but then he drives away
to not do anything.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And then you had her go to the parents. You don't know exactly what they were hinting at. It seemed like
they were hinting at her.
It was adultery.
Her father would touch her.
Yeah, like adultery.
Adultery. That's
child
molestation.
What is it?
Yeah,
that's his daughter, and he's fucking her. That is
pedophilia,
child
like
molestation.
Yeah. There was something else I wanted to bring up.
But it's like
Betty, like when she was in school. Now, when she first saw the girl talking to her, like I thought it was a real girl, and then it's revealed that this is somebody. And
Betty is Allison Pill's character. Do you talk?
Oh, I'm sorry, Ruby? Not Betty. I didn't mean Betty. I meant
Ruby.
Ruby, yes, Ruby.
Yeah, Ruby.
Thank you. When Ruby was in school, and it's like, you know, she saw the white girl that wanted to. You know, she said that she was the prettiest black girl around. You know, it was interesting because it's like I felt like Ruby, like we see once they lose their little brother, that it's just like she says that she doesn't want to be like mom. Like her and Grace say that they don't want to be like their mother, and it's like I just didn't understand. It's just like
I'm not sure if they believe the mom is the thing. I'm not sure if they believe the mom's story. That's what I gathered from it. They think that maybe she actually murdered their little brother. Because throughout the series, there's things where
it's like they don't trust her.
The thing is trying to hurt their kids. And like she got the comb on the stove and it burns her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's mistrust between the two. They don't believe that these white people showed up, raped or killed their little brother. I think they kind of think mom snapped and murdered the baby while they were out, and they just don't really trust.
But see, that makes worse sense if that's the case. Like, I didn't know if
they live in a crazy household. I mean, first the dad was nuts coming back from war, and he's throwing pie all over the house. And how did he miraculously get better is beyond me. They don't even explain that, right? He just miraculously recovered from his PTSD all of a sudden, and like he went through more traumatic experiences and now he's healed.
Yeah, so but the thing is, like, what does that have to do with the mom going crazy if she does take out the baby? What does that have to do with them moving to Compton?
I guess to get her out. I don't know. Yeah.
And then remember, it's like she was going to West Compton, and then we found out that the lady that she had became friends with wasn't even real. Right? Am I right? I think
she was real.
I might be right. Who was the lady? Who was the lady that
children?
Not her. The other lady
that she was talking to in the living room, and Gracie was like, "Mom, who are you talking to?" Remember?
I thought it was the lady that was in the asylum the whole time.
Yeah, I think
like her.
That's two separate ladies.
I thought that was her.
So this is how confusing this is. So the lady in the asylum, you remember when she went down to the bank and she
Yes.
found out about the other couple.
Yeah,
That was the
That's
lady
the
from the other
That's
couple.
the other couple.
They were in the house
The
first.
other couple was a lady that poured bleach or whatever all over her kids.
And then you got the second lady.
Okay.
who-
I thought it was
No. So that's the lady that poured bleach on her kids,
Yeah.
the one that she met in the asylum.
Okay.
Then you got the other lady that
They put 'em
actually
in
cooked
the-
her kids in the
yeah, she
oven.
put them in the oven.
that was crazy.
Right. That was crazy. Now,
Bag of
that's
cat.
the first family. That's
That was
the
the first
first
one.
family that
Yeah.
moved into, Compton of some sort. Then
Yeah.
the second lady moves into Compton. She goes crazy. She's in the asylum. And now they're the third family
The third black family. Now, no,
The
but I'm
third
talking about
black
like,
family.
remember when she was in the house and she was on the ground and she was praying and Gracie was just like, "Mom, who are you talking to?" And then it's like the lady that she was in the living room
Oh
with.
yeah, she saw like Gracie thought it was I'm thinking of when you're talking about Gracie thought she was talking to the ghost that she sees, but really it was the dude.
No,
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, well, we could just skip over. But yeah, I mean, like there was just some confusing stuff
Too
on
much.
this show, man. And I mean,
Yeah.
like, this is just the first
Mm.
part. There is going to be a season 2. It's already been greenlit.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there's going to be a season 2, but
I won't be shocked if that gets turned though.
yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, not Netflix. Amazon already gave it a 2-season order, and this one it's called Covenant. So
Right.
I believe that I read somewhere that how them is going to be.
Yeah, it's gonna be
kind of be like American Horror Story, where
correct.
it's like
Jumps
you're gonna
around.
Yeah.
it's going to jump around. So
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'm pretty sure that we're gonna, get references in season 2 and whatnot. But it's just going to be pretty interesting because, like, do you guys think that they're going to follow up with this season, or do you think that they're going to go into a different direction? Starting with you, D.
Yeah, I just don't. This season was a bag of cats to me. I'm not sure what they're gonna do next. If they go with what is it called, Coven, as the next season.
Covenant.
No,
Covenant.
that was this
No.
season.
Yeah, this season was Covenant.
We don't know
What's
the name
in-
of next season.
Oh well, I wish I had a title so I could go off of it. I don't know what they're gonna do, to be honest.
It's going to be
I
called
mean-
Redemption.
I hope so. I just don't. Banks, look, I'm good on all the racial directed shows right now.
Yeah.
As far as direction, I just, and then they have to do a better job. I don't care what they do. They have to do a better job of storytelling. It has to be cohesive. I mean, something. Give me something.
Yeah.
This just took too long. It's slow burnt. Yeah. For what?
I can already tell you, it really depends on what happens at the award ceremonies. I feel like this is going to be a big hit with the Academy, so I expect them to kind of win awards. And I really think it all depends on, again, what it's nominated for and how many awards it wins. Because if it cleans up, expect the same thing, because that's just kind of, if you've ever noticed the last 8 years or so, this is what wins for black films.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
12 Years a Slave, Green Book, any sort of thing that involves, people online are calling it black trauma, but anything that involves slavery in some way, shape, or form, that's like the hot topic right now for the Academy to do black films on. And then it doesn't help when Jordan Peele has back-to-back successes, and now they want to mimic that. So now they're going to combine those two things, and this right here is not going away. I can already tell you right now. It's kind of like when all those paranormal movies come out, and we had like 5 years of paranormal movies.
The
These
thing
are the black
is,
films that you're going to get right
that's
here.
great. I'm glad you brought that one up too, Trav. At least those went together. I don't know what they were doing in this, and that's fine, I guess. You go whatever's hot, you go with. Now, you said you did a little bit of research, Trav. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that before we?
Well, I think it's just pretty much the same consensus that you have, D. Is
mixed reviews.
A lot of black people just don't want to watch this, D. I mean, they experience it in life, and they just really don't want to watch it. Then again, I love Lena Waithe. You know what I mean? I love The Chi. If you haven't seen The Chi on Showtime, phenomenal show. And she's in Ready Player One of my favorite movies. So I love her. But she's pretty much being dragged right now for mimicking Jordan Peele and
for sure,
copying what it is that he tried to do. But It may not be her, because again, she answers to him, her, and they all upstairs. She's got people over her, and if they're telling her this is what we want to see, I mean, it's either going to be that's what I'm going to make, or I'm not going to do the show. Those are her two options.
Yeah, what you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I understand that. It just, oh man.
Yeah, it's just crazy, man. I mean, I thought that the cinematography was good on this show. I thought that the music choices,
music was the best part of this show. The music,
really good. I felt like it was very colorful in certain areas of the show and whatnot. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you guys think that y'all are gonna check out season 2, or are y'all good on that?
Yeah, I like this show.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too, but I can understand why some people wouldn't like the show though.
Absolutely.
It just isn't, and then this is on the outside of our specter. This was like barely touching what we would cover based on the way they presented the show.
Yeah.
It had elements in it, but it was just very little, I said, these are hour-long episodes, and you don't really get that stuff until episode 6.
Yeah.
Somewhere around episode 6. And it's just like, dude, it takes too long. Give me some robots, give me some aliens, and I'm good with that. But this stuff, hard pass.
Yeah, it's just it is just kind of crazy where it's just like, it takes horror elements, but it's like it's not really a horror television show.
It's just really weird the way
until stuff starts really picking up.
Exactly.
And we find out that the house is haunted. I mean, we find out in the first episode that the house is haunted, but kind of like what you were saying earlier, D, it's like we see that in the first episode, and in the second episode, Lucky, she goes down into the basement, and then she sees the hand come out and touch her, but it's just like there's never really any follow-up until the show progresses, where if it went into a different direction or something like that, like I do feel like
they should have just picked one.
Now, one thing I could have dealt with is if the demon had been in Betty the whole time or something like that, because she's the driving force behind the mob, basically.
Yeah.
But she was just being a prick.
Or the demon. Sorry to cut you off. Or the demon could have been inside of the racist guy.
You know what I mean, though? Yeah. Like show it jumping around or jumping bodies or something.
They should have picked one. Are we gonna go with the house is haunted, or are we gonna go with white people are trying to get black people out of the neighborhood?
Yeah,
what they did was they tried to put both in there, and it just makes no sense because it's like you don't need both. You don't need the white mob and the paranormal spirits on top.
And
go with one.
I'm glad. I want to piggyback off what you're saying too, Trav. I think that's the problem that I have too, is because there's such extremes, having a demon cult or whatever, demon burial ground or whatever you want to call it. And then you have the lynching mob. Yeah. I think they're just two extremes that just, what are you doing?
Yeah, it would have been
both.
It would have been interesting to see, like some of the other Amish people, like they were like the driving force in some of the other households, because at the end and the season finale for this, we see when Lucky, when she goes down into the basement, we see that the Black Hat man, that he has like other people down there with him. So it's just like, why weren't these people like, why is this the first time that we're seeing these people? You know what I'm saying? Like they could have been in the other houses, like inside people's heads,
controlling the white people or whatever.
Yeah,
but it's just like
this is why people are again, they really try to put what life is like for black people into the film. On top, I think originally they wanted to make a psychological thriller that revolved around a black family being terrorized by these demon spirits. And then somebody said, well, let's also throw in what life is like in the 1950s for a black family that moves into an all-white community.
Now,
and it's like, dude, we don't need, it's too much. It's way too much.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, because like I could have got down with it if you gave me more horror elements, like I don't know, maybe crazy white person breaks in and they have to kill him, and they see like a weird mark or something. But it was just like, hey, this demon is just making the black people see stuff, and then the other people in the town are just evil.
Yeah,
I'm like, what? Yeah, that's what it seemed like.
this is my opinion, and I don't. Of course, I don't. There's no facts for this, and none of Little Marvin or Lena Waithe. Nobody's gonna come out and be like, "Yeah, the studio made us do this." But I believe that Little Marvin had this psychological thriller about a black family that moves into a neighborhood and gets terrorized by these demons. And then the studio was like, you know what would be a really good selling point is if we throw in how the white man's the devil, and really black people will get behind that because they hate the white man. And I really feel like those were all studio notes. And then they have to work this into the script somehow, is what I feel really happened. Personally.
I don't know, but I will say that we need to see like a behind the scenes or have somebody come out and say something, because I know that this show, it does have a lot of people split, especially in the black community. I have black friends on Facebook who said that they weren't going to watch this because they're just tired of seeing black drama, black hurt. Well, not black drama, but black hurt in films and TV shows. So I get it. I think they feel like, sorry, not to cut you off, but I think they just feel like they want black people to connect on emotional level with a film. And they're like, what would black people connect with? Racism. And they just throw it in there at you. Yeah,
but
I feel like it's one of those things where it's just like, of course it's going to make us mad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just like, but it's like I said earlier,
but you could trigger another emotional response by black people besides racism.
Yeah, the thing is, they didn't have to have so much of it. If they had just gotten to the point, it's like I didn't need to see them organizing all these mobs and stuff. And then where's the black head man during all that? It's like he didn't need. I mean, they didn't need him for that.
And how were the spirits able to, leave the house and go to school and go to work? And
they need the Winchesters up in there
and all that stuff.
If they would have made the white people just uncomfortable that the black people's in the neighborhood, I think that would have been subtle enough and just fine. But instead, they were like, hang them in the fields, what I mean?
Yeah.
And went to this crazy extreme of
exactly
wild stuff, dude. And it was like, being uncomfortable would have just been enough.
Like the family that moves there is crazy. Then they got demons where they move. And I'm like, what?
So it's like, well, what's next for the family now? Because it's like, I'm just saying, because it's like all this stuff happened.
Where do you go from here?
It's like the episode ends with the 3 cops, their guns are drawn, the flames in front of their house are starting to go away, and then it's like you got the lynch mob out in front of the house. So it's like,
just assume they get carted off to prison. I mean,
why does that's what I'm saying, like what I said earlier. It's like there's no feel good moment here. It's just like, it's cool that they were able to finally defeat their demons, but it's like now that they defeated their demons,
they got real life to deal
the mob outside to kill them.
He said they got real life to deal with.
Real life. But look,
so it's just like where is their come up? I feel bad. I don't know what's going to happen next, but for season 1 of this show, I'll give it an 8 out of 10 for season 1.
Wow.
Shit.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Leave that in too.
Yeah, that's weird. That I feel like I like the show more than you, and I'm not even going that high with it. I gave it a 7 out of 10, and really, the story's a little bit of a cluster, obviously, because we spent like 20 minutes talking about how the story made no sense.
We had to untangle it.
But if I'm gonna say something, it's gonna be, again, the acting, the performance in this show was phenomenal.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with that.
Jeremiah Burkett, who played, I'm just gonna call him Blackface because they're trying to tiptoe around it. And
no, his name is the tap.
They're trying. Okay, but if he was a tap dancer and not Blackface, they wouldn't have wiped his face and it'd be a white man, behind the face paint. So regardless, his performance blew me away. This dude stole the show. That song, the what you gonna do?
Yeah, what you gonna do?
Was why the way this man would move his face and like how much of he would show his gums and his teeth and his facial expressions. Dude blew me away with his performance. Highlight of the show for me. That dude's perform. That dude don't get the credit.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
deserves.
saying. Like, why didn't we get more of him in the show? They could, because Henry clearly goes to the bathroom early on and screams into a towels. It seems like he's pulling for like 5 minutes. It's like he clearly snapped before that guy even shows up.
Yeah,
it's like, why didn't we just get him there? You know,
like that could have been
what you gonna do.
Yeah,
like from the get-go, from the war. That's his PTSD, and this is what he's manifested into a form. Yeah,
and I get it, but it's like we should have got more of those elements, dude. It was just
why. That's why. That's why I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
What do you give it?
5 out of 10. Get it together.
Okay. Quick and to the point. So, hey, with that being said, oh, go ahead, D. No, go ahead.
No, I've said enough. I won't talk about
you. He hit
follow, subscribe.
Hey, he hit you with the Mandalorian. I have spoken.
I've spoken.
I've spoken.
But hey, thank you everybody for watching our review. Let us know in the comments what you thought about the show. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you going to watch season 2? Let's talk about it. D, let them know in social media land where they can find you at.
That's going to be rebellious_D23 at Instagram.com. Trav?
Hey, I hit you with the pen on it too, baby. Yeah, you can find your boy one place, one stop shop. It's the Instagrams at ZK Audio. And clearly this family is in need of a hero. They got these demons trying to bring them down to the basement. Where are they going to find one?
Hey, Trav, I don't think I can save them.
Hey, White Bob.
Hey, I was looking for Bobby to show up.
Bro, what if All Might showed up and was like, "Don't fear, All Might is here"?
No, hey, bro. If All Might was in the 1950s, it's like they would have been trying to get him out of the neighborhood too. You got to remember, All Might Asian. Get him out of here. But you can find me, your hero, Benjamin Banks at KingBenji_Banks. On Twitter and Instagram, you can look me up on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Make sure that you tune in tomorrow for our reviews for Invincible and Falcon and Winter Soldier. I was going to say the episode 5 for Falcon and Winter Soldier. And make sure that you tune in on Saturday when we do our review for My Hero Academia. And also check out our interview that we have coming up tomorrow with voice actor Nazeed Tarsha. And with that being said, keep that pinky up, stay positive. We'll see you next time. Peace. Thank you for watching a brand new episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure that you hit that like button and you subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content on our channel. Make sure you check out our podcast where we release new episodes every Tuesday and the video of that episode is uploaded on Friday. And you can find new episodes of our podcast on all podcast platforms. Make sure you follow all the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks social media accounts at Leveling Up Banks on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, we have a Patreon. If you're feeling generous and would love to donate to us, it's at Leveling Up Banks. And huge shout out to our patrons. We really appreciate you and thank you for the support. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks.